So when I first saw this soap come up on the challenge years and years ago, I looked at it and went, I'll pass. Not because it was hard, but because it seemed very easy, actually. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can do that. That's not challenging, right? But then when I learned how the technique was actually done to achieve it, I was super intrigued. And so I learned that like literally just this last week, because making the soaps and the things, right, for the challenge. And I immediately wanted to try it because I was not expecting this technique to be used to achieve the overall end design. So there's that. I'm going to tell you more about that and all of the things in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You're at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 331 of 365 days of soap, and we are tackling another Amy Warden Soap challenge thing. Yes, we are doing pointy layers. Now, with the pointy layers technique, I really assumed that it was just, you know, you put a layer of soap down and maybe two, and then you pull a hanger through, and then the next one you push some hangers down and they keep doing that through the, and I went, well, I mean, I can do that. I can make pointy layers. Half of my life in soaping is screwing up layers, and that's can be achieved kind of that way. But that's not how it's done. This is done with an incredibly thin fluid batter, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yes, we are doing this. I want to be a part of this. And I think the teacher for this month was Holly from Kapia Mera soaps. I'll have to double check on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was for this particular challenge. But yeah, so she was great, and I've just loved watching the thing, and I actually really loved making this bar too. So I'm going to stop talking about it here. You're going to go watch me make the bar, and we're going to talk more about the technique and the process and all the things in the video. So let's go. Okay, so many different things are happening today. Like, one, we are reviewing the final scent for Lone Star this month, and all I can say to that is thank God. Like, this has been, I mean, Georgia May still needs to do her pour and give her thoughts, but nah, this has not worked out well for me. This particular one, Hibiscus Guava Fresca, which is a type, and it looks like, oh, Cat 9, 39.5%. So, you know, use it however you'd like, really, in soap. And so there's that. And that right there is a sodium lactate that we'll be putting into the live water before we put it into the solution. Because we are doing the number 2 last Amy Warden Soap challenge of the month. Like, mine is today, and Georgia May's of the same as tomorrow. Yes, and we are doing the pointy layers technique. And yeah, honestly, with both, okay, so I just added the sodium lactate to the cooled lye water, by the way, because in the tutorial, it said to do the thing. Now, this particular soap was actually, I'm going to look it up right now to make sure I don't get her name wrong, because I know that I've seen her before. She's delightful. Okay. So this particular challenge was actually taught by Teri of Tree Marie Soapworks. Tree Marie Soapworks. And if you're not familiar with the name, you're definitely familiar with the process. She's the one who actually does all of her colorants on like an acrylic board. Very beautiful, very cool videos for sure. I might say Holly from Kapia Mera throughout this video, but it's Teri from Tree Marie. And she's delightful. Her videos are so curated and so, you know, cute and awesome and very stylized, and it's cool. Now, this particular soap challenge for Amy Warden Soap Challenge was actually taught by her, and I'm here for that. Now, the idea behind this is essentially creating really, well, I mean, pointy layers. It's the pointy layers technique. And so one of the things is you want to make sure that you have an incredibly thin batter with this. So like I would actually recommend for the advanced soap makers stopping just before emulsion. For those who are less advanced with, you know, soaping, hit emulsion. Just do that. But either way, like very thin batter. And the idea is the way that you sort of put the batter into the mold will create these pointy layers, which I was actually intrigued by, right? Because I've seen these little pointy layer things before and I've just gone, well, they put a hanger in it, right? And just pushed the batter up and down to create the points. And that's not the way Teri from Tree Marie Soapworks does it. And so we're doing it the way that she does. Now, one of the things she recommends is to choose very contrasting colors. And so I did that thing. I chose very contrasting and awesome colors. And then I realized at this exact moment, I am making Am I Bright? And for those of you who know, you know, Soap and Clay and the line and the few soaps that still exist today that existed, you know, a bajillion years ago, Am I Bright is one of those. And these are the freaking colors for Am I Bright. I picked these off of the shelf and went, yeah, contrasting colors. It's great. Yeah, totally. And once I poured the soap batter into the color, I went, oh yeah, this is something that I do multiple times a week. Like this is something I make multiple times a week. So that's cool. But you know, for those of you who like found me via YouTube and aren't familiar with my line, hey, brand new soap for you. The scent, the hibiscus guava, is actually a brand new, that's not what Am I Bright smells like. So it works, but it's making my mind do weird things right now because the colors are definitely the Am I Bright colors, and it's not the same scent. And so my brain, as I'm watching this, is kind of going into an overload. So we're gonna, you know, go to a little like title card and whatever, and then we're gonna go to the pour, and I'm going to try to reset my brain in the process. Okay, so the pour of this guy, like so many soap challenges with the Amy Warden Soap Challenge thing, really depends on the consistency, relies on the consistency of the batter for success / failure. But you have seen throughout this month of like craziness that those rules aren't necessarily true, right? They can be broken. Because you've seen me work with super thin batter, and then you've seen Georgia May work with super thick batter, and the designs were still achieved. Was it less fun to pour it with the thick batter? Sure. But did the end result look the same? Sure. But with this one, the idea is working with incredibly fluid batter, and for each layer, what you're going to essentially do is just have a very methodical movement of your soap from side to side, kind of low as you can get to the actual soap itself, moving it. Oh, see, now that dripped down and we don't like that. But also these little dots here, we also don't like those. We want a nice consistent light stream of batter coming out of the nozzle to sort of shift the very thin batter underneath into what will become little points, right? And so the more that you pass over the exact same area that you just poured the soap, the bigger the white points in this particular instance will become, the more defined. And so that's better. That's better. We don't have any of the droppy drops. Now I'm actually balancing the nozzle of the container on the wall, which makes sense. And this first pour is going to be kind of the hardest because to get it into the mold without breaking too far into the white and get it close to the it's kind of tough because you're literally at like the bottom of the mold right now. But you see the little white bits that are coming up as I continue to go over and over with in the same area with passes of the orange. That's creating points in the next layer. And then once you have, you know, some points created, you're going to take the soap batter and just cover the entire surface, which is, this is the thinking behind the whole thing, really. And so your goal is, for each of these, I split this into 4 equal parts for the entirety of this batch. And I have to keep going with this over and over and over again until all of the soap is in the mold. And for me, love this because I love super fluid soap batter. This is awesome. And also, it turns out I don't like tedious, but I like monotony. So there's that. I'm complicated. And yeah, so the scent blend with the hibiscus guava for Lone Star, this is my favorite out of the 10 that we did this month. My favorite for sure. It's a delightful scent. I would consider reordering it for sure. But I mean, across the board, if I got 10 scents from you and only one was worthy of reordering, because the others, while maybe I liked their scent, they didn't have a good throw after saponification, or they sucked to soap with, no, it's a hard pass for me. It's very unlikely that I will ever reorder from Lone Star. But also, I am still very much interested in actually just ordering everything from Lone Star and making all of the test batches and giving them my soaping notes and keeping like a level of consistency and doing all the things so they at least have soaping notes on their website for soapers. You should do that. Lone Star should do that. Unless they really don't care about actually hitting the soap making community, and they super should, because candles, that's a thing. People are, I guess I would argue that, like, no, I don't really know. I think candle making and soap making, both incredibly saturated markets right now. And so for everybody who's trying to start both of those businesses at this point, it's an interesting process for sure. So you should definitely, if you want to also reach both markets, you should have soaping notes. And so Lone Star, hey, I'm interested in doing your soaping notes. Hey, that's delightful. That's the way it's supposed to pour out. Now, pay attention to how many passes I did with that first round of the purple, and therefore how deep that should go down into the orange in the cut. And so we will pay attention to, you know, that side of the bar when we cut the bar. And the idea is, again, create incredibly pointy, tiny little bumps in each side of the thing, the little pointy layers, without using a hanger. I was super not interested in this pour at all, because again, I look at that and I went, yes, hanger, do the thing, easy enough, whatever. And then the Soapprentice actually watched the tutorial, and she said that the hangers were not used. And I went, really? Well, now I'm intrigued, because at any point, if there's a pour that I don't have to dirty an extra tool, yeah, I'm here for that, 100%. And watch the tutorial, and Holly did a great job with all of it. And yeah, that became part of my soap jam for sure, because if I don't have to dirty another tool, if I don't have to dirty a squeeze bottle, if it's just the things that I would normally use for olive soaping anyway, yeah, no, I'm here for that, 100%. And so this pour became interesting to me at that moment. Now I have 3 of the the sections in, 3 of the 4 sections in, and I'm just scenting them as we go to make sure the batter stays nice and fluid. And I do have, in addition to the sodium lactate, I have a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of powdered sugar in the actual lye solution in the water. Before I poured the lye in, I mixed the powdered sugar into the lye into the water. All the things. And it is yielding a very fluid batter. Now, normally I don't really enhance my lye water for this because I like sabotaging myself. I like the super challenge, I guess. But no, this is actually a good tip. So 1 teaspoon per pound of oils of sugar into the water, dissolve it, then put your lye in. And 1 teaspoon per pound of oils for your sodium lactate. That batter is staying fluid and beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous for the whole thing. There's been, and that's with a crap ton of kaolin clay in it as well. Like, keep that in mind. Like, there is a lot of kaolin clay, and kaolin and clays in general just really thicken batter rather quickly. So that's amazing. Do the thing. I've always been super skeptical. Like, and again, it's like the extra step process or whatever. But if you're making clay soaps and you need to keep your batter fluid, do that. Sugar, sodium lactate, one or the other or both. Hey, they super work. It's awesome. This was a fun pour for me, just in general. Like, I like this for sure. And this is actually all in the mold, ready to be C-popped. So this will get put into the oven for gel, and we will cut into it tomorrow and see what we're working with inside and if any of my pointy layers, you know, worked. Okay, so on to the cut, and this bar is gorgeous. Everything about this, it's so smooth. It feels silky on the hands. I'm really loving the current swirls mix that I have. And the shitty thing about that is I will forget how much I loved this in a week's time when it's time to make, you know, another 200 pounds of it. So, you know, there's that. And I'll change the recipe. But so whenever we use the swirls mix in February, it's been delightful. It's so good. And yeah, so you can see where it broke into the orange broke into the white too much there. And so that's not great, but the little pointy layers in between the orange and the purple and the white, super beautiful. I love that, little teeny tiny. Oh yeah, and that's better. That's when I kind of stopped doing the drippy drip thing, ish, because the entire orange layer was kind of drippy drip. But that is cute. That is adorable. It provides really cool interest between all 4 of the layers, again, without having to get the hanger out, without having to do anything weird, and with getting to work with really fluid soap batter, which I am 100% here for, because really fluid soap batter is my favorite thing in the whole entire world. And so I got to work with really thin batter for this whole pour, and it's beautiful. It looks just like Am I Bright, though, so it's really freaking me out. But oh, look at that little teardrop on that side. The little guy who just like hung out. That's adorable. That's so cute. Those ones might actually be my favorite. I know that's not part of the actual technique, but I love that. That's really cute. I wonder how many of these bars will actually have that, because I'm here for that. But yeah, the little pointy layers between all of them, that's very beautiful. And again, paying attention to how many times you do a pass over with your, you know, like whatever color over and over the top of it will really create deeper divots in the layer below. It's going to push more of the color in the layer below to the sides and therefore give a deeper drop to the soap that you're pouring, if that makes sense. And you can see that most obviously with the purple bar that is already on the table on the upper left hand corner there. Like, that was the pass where I was doing a ton of purple over and over again, and that one too in the right hand side right there. And yeah, no, this was a super fun pour. The scent is good. Like the Lone Star, this hibiscus guava, none problems with pouring, none problems with saponification. It smells really delightful after saponification. It's good. But again, if it's 1 out of 10 where I can say, yeah, no, this is great, like this is something special, yeah, I'm not going to order from you again. So I think at the end of all of this, I'll make my final decision tomorrow after Georgia May weighs in on her bar. But yeah, no, I mean, Lone Star might be great for candles, and that's awesome, but I don't like them for soaps. And I've tried every soap company out there, it feels like, for fragrance oils. I mean, obviously not everyone, because this is the point of the whole whatever, but Lone Star, moving to like the candle world, no, I'll probably never do the ordering again. But the Pointy Layers technique, super gorgeous, love that. That is day 331, and she is a babe. Okay, so for my OG sudsers that have been around forever, they totally know that what I made there is Am I Bright? And so for people who have been using my soaps for years and years and years, and they see that color pattern, but they don't smell Am I Bright when it's got to blow your mind as much as it is blowing mine, for sure. Because that color scheme, that is one of my most popular bars that I am not allowed to discontinue. And I super didn't realize that until I actually had the colors in front of me and I went, shit, I'm making a confusing Am I Bright? The scent, however, this hibiscus guava from Lone Star, it's very delightful. And there were no problems at all with the pouring or with any sort of signs of discoloration or anything. And the scent was very strong after saponification. So that's awesome. But if it's just 1 out of 10 out of the ones that we tried, I mean, I guess I can do without you. If it's just the... Anyway, I really can't do my official weigh-in until tomorrow after Georgia May has a chance to do her Pointy Layers as well as work with the hibiscus guava. So, you know, come back for that. And the best way to come back for that is to subscribe. And then you can get notified when I drop the next video. Because, you know, it'll be tomorrow, but who knows at what time. Yes, for those of you who are subscribed, hey, thank you for being so. I really appreciate you being my sudsers each and every day, for sure. I'm out of here for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for Georgia May's attempt at Pointy Layers. Bye.